Hello there, good evening and a warm welcome to the news live on Rupavahini ChannelEye. I'm Sharon Mascarenhas.
I'm Ovin Hettiarachi and here are today's headlines. The administration of the COVID vaccine to persons between the ages of 20 and 29 years will commence in 4 districts from tomorrow. Another batch of 4 million Sinopharm vaccines have been brought to the island. The government says that this was the biggest stock received in a day. Wife of the Vedda chief Vanilla dies from the coronavirus. The government says that the price of wheat flour will not be increased. Economic Centre officials say that the unusual rise in vegetable prices could be controlled. A tear gas attack targeting female protesters in Afghanistan. Now on to those and more stories in detail. On today's top story, head of the National Operations Centre for the Prevention of the Spread of COVID-19 outbreak, General Shavendra Silva, says that a program to commence the inoculation of COVID-19 vaccines to persons between the ages of 20 and 29 years will commence from the districts of Colombo, Gampaha, Kaluthara and Galle tomorrow. The Department of Government Information issuing a communiqué in this regard says that the vaccination will be conducted at the same locations where inoculations are currently taking place in these districts. According to the Department of Government Information, under the immunization program to be commenced tomorrow, only residents of the districts of Colombo, Gampaha, Kaluthara and Galle are entitled to get vaccinated. In addition to the vaccination centres in Colombo district, inoculation centres are being conducted at the Vihara Mahadevi Park, Diyatawiyana, Panagoda Army Camp and the Vera Haram Army Medical Corps headquarters. Chief Medical Officers of the Colombo Municipal Council, Dr. Ruan Vijayamuni, says that persons between the ages of 20 and 29 years will be inoculated at the Sugadasa Indoor Stadium, the Jinitu Pitya Medical Officers Health Centre, Campbell Park, Boralla, Shalika Grounds, Roxy Gardens and also at the Community Hall at the Arnold Ratnayake Mawatha. 4 million doses of the Chinese Sinopharm vaccine have meanwhile were brought to the island at dawn today. This was regarded as the biggest quantity of vaccines brought to the island in a single day. An aircraft of the Sri Lankan Airlines carrying a stock of vaccines touched down at the Kartanayake Bandaranaike Airport at 4:50 this morning. Thereafter, the stock was brought to the Central Vaccination Depot in Colombo. The people in the country have been provided with 21,840,957 doses of the vaccine under COVID immunization program. 2,336,681 vaccines have been administered in the past 7 days. 180,062 vaccines have been inoculated yesterday alone. The vaccination programs have been conducted in 132 centres covering 17 districts. A program to provide vaccines to people between the ages of 20 and 30 years has taken place at Angunukula Pastor Town Hall. Minister Nama Rajpaksha was at the event. The program to inoculate persons above the age of 60 years in their residences was conducted in Berula, Payagala and Madinimulla. The first dose of the Sinopharm vaccine had been administered on this occasion. An extraordinary gazette notification fixing the maximum retail price of fingertip plus oximeters at 3,000 rupees was issued yesterday under the signature of the Health Minister, Dr. Kehalia Rambukwala. The Minister says the measure will be taken in to provide medical and health equipment according to proper standard and also set the maximum prices for these products. The Sri Lanka Army has commenced a program to hand over oximeters to patients undergoing treatment in their residences. It has been also reported that 50 families in Colombo and Gampaha district have already received the oximeters. 2,564 COVID-19 infected persons have been detected in the country today. 2,081 fully cured COVID-19 patients have also left the hospitals today. Uruvalige Hin Manika, wife of the leader of the indigenous community, Uruvalige Vanilla Atto, has passed away at Peradeniya Teaching Hospital last evening while undergoing treatment for the COVID-19 disease. She was 64 years old at the time of demise. Upon detection of the affliction, she was admitted to the base hospital. When the disease became intensified, the spouse of the Vedda chief was transmitted to Peradeniya Teaching Hospital for further treatment. The victim has been ailing for a long time due to malfunctioning of the kidneys. A kidney was transplanted on her several years ago. Our correspondent says the indigenous community leader Urvalige Vanyayatto has arrived at the Peradeniya Teaching Hospital today to pay her last respects. The correspondent also says the final rites on the remains are scheduled to be conducted at the Pardeshia Sabha Ceremony Crematorium at 3 p.m. tomorrow. The Director General of the Health Services has confirmed 189 COVID-19 related deaths that occurred today. Out of this number, 154 fatalities were 60 years or above the age of 60 years. 34 other victims were between the ages of 30 and 59. The remaining victim was below the age of 30.
President of the Sri Lanka Medical Council, Dr. Padma Gunaratne, says that a decline in the number of COVID-infected persons has been shown following the imposition of the quarantine curfew in the country. She further said at a media briefing today that as a result, a somewhat easing of congestion in hospitals has been witnessed.
With regard to lockdown, we are very grateful to the government of Sri Lanka for the sensible decision made around 20th of last month to declare a lockdown in the country, because at that time there was a rapid escalation of the number of cases to an extent that it exceeded the capacity of all the hospital beds, and there were patients collected at home, and if lockdown was not declared, there would have been a collapse of the hospital system. So along with that locking down, we know that generally it takes time for us to see a response after that, and to reduce the number of deaths, it takes much more time. So now we just have started seeing the downslope, so that now there is some ease in hospitals, particularly with regard to the availability of hospital beds for COVID patients as well as ICU beds. So it's important that we maintain this lockdown to the same extent, at least for another 10 more days. The Sri Lanka Medical Association has already submitted an exit strategy some time ago, and then we know that even the Ministry of Health prepared an exit strategy. The document that the Sri Lanka Medical Association prepared was a scientific document. So based on this scientific information, if we are to maintain the benefits of this lockdown, it becomes important that we open gradually, stepwise, and maintaining the same strict, stringent measures with regard to high-risk behavior and the locations, particularly on public transport and the receptions and so on. If we move on to vaccination, what we use in Sri Lanka are all the vaccines that have been recommended by the World Health Organization. It's important that I stress that all vaccines that were available in Sri Lanka so far have saved so many lives. So I'm thankful to the government for getting down all these vaccines for people, as well as for people who receive these vaccines, so that they fulfill their obligation towards the community.
Meanwhile, family health specialist Dr. Malkanti Galhena says it has become possible to minimize the admission of patients in serious condition. This is a result of the implementation of the program to treat corona patients who do not show severe symptoms at their homes. She also pointed out that a very small number of cured COVID-19 patients could also show post-disease symptoms. Therefore, the physician said that attention should be focused on such cases.
The treatment method that we are going to provide for the COVID positive patients with minor symptoms, while we are keeping them at home, we have successfully treated for 54,837 patients. Today, the number of active patients under our care are 14,472. It's the important thing, because we used to get these patients during the early stage of the disease through MOHs. So that is the positive thing, that we can, take the advantage of being in the first stage of the illness, so that disease will not be progressed to the complications during the second part of the illness. Ministry of Health is planning to expand this system furthermore so that we can get some more patients into the system, as well as the recruiting more medical officers in order to deliver proper care to patients when they get very mild symptoms, because this system has been shown that the very much less hospital admission. So because of that, it's a real the relief to the patients as well as to the hospital system. There is a trend among patients. A few patients have been experienced this post-COVID syndrome, where the patient are getting symptoms after the recovery of this illness after the 14th day. So this is really the problematic thing during this coronavirus infection. So because of that, all patients who got this disease need to be, think about this possibility during the next 6 weeks of the duration. Then we always advise the patients to be alert about the similar symptoms that patient had been experienced during the 14-day stay while they are getting their treatment. So if such symptoms develop, like the short of breath or the fever or sometimes the body aches or any other symptoms regarding that, so we advise you all to go to the nearest hospital or to your doctor without waiting and thinking that it may be a part of your illness. So this is the real the risk that patient can get, but to be honest, it's not a common, the scenario. It happens very rarely, but still almost all the patients who got corona need to be aware about this.
State Minister Lasantha Alagiyavanna says that the wheat flour prices will not be increased under any circumstance. He made these remarks at a media briefing held today to enlighten on the draft bill on the revision of the Consumer Affairs Authority Act to Parliament tomorrow. State Minister Lasantha Alagiyavanna said that a news is being spread in social media these days that the price of wheat flour has been increased by 12 rupees. The State Minister added that he is thankful to the President and the Minister of Finance for retaining the wheat flour price at present level. Arrangements have been made through discussions by the President's Secretary and the Finance Ministry Secretary with the two relevant companies to maintain the prices at the existing level. Accordingly, the two companies dealing with wheat flour price have been informed to supply the flour at current prices. The State Minister also said that permission will also not be granted to increase the prices of other bakery products as well. The government's stance is that prices should not be increased at this juncture, burdening the general public. The State Minister has also expressed views on the appointment of the Commission on Essential Services under the emergency law. He also stated that the fines imposed on traders who sell goods above the maximum retail prices, even after the amendments of the Consumer Affairs Act, will be further increased.
Lanka has provided an opportunity for consumer public to purchase sugar under the government-controlled price of sugar. Accordingly, people are able to buy a kilo of white sugar for 120 rupees and a kilo of brown sugar for 125 rupees from such sales outlets throughout the island. Meanwhile, the police requested information on any specific information regarding hoarding of sugar stocks. Police media spokesman, Syria Superintendent Nihal Taldua says that regular telephone number 1992 of the Sri Lanka Police Intelligence Division remains open. The general public could provide any information pertaining to the hiding of food items to this telephone number, which remains operational 24 hours of the day. Strict confidentiality is being maintained on the information provided. This is a scene of how people have lined up to purchase sugar at controlled prices from Sathusa main branches in the Kantara district. Sugar was also sold at control prices in Ganemulla as well. Sealed-off sugar stocks stored without the permission of the Consumer Affairs Authority have been released to the multipurpose cooperative societies yesterday. Sugar stocks found hidden in a storage in Kundasale Kandy have been released to the market. Consumers can purchase sugar from cooperatives and coop city centres. State Minister Janika Wakumbra said that sugar stocks in the country are adequate to cater to the demands of the general public until the end of the year.
Economic Centre officials say that unusual increases in vegetable prices could be controlled through the preparation of a program to directly forward to every market in the island. The vegetable stocks are being purchased from farmers. They expressed their opinion in the Irida Aibuan discussion program of the national television this morning. The topic of the talks has been centred on the issue as to how appropriate vegetable prices could be set upon farmers and the consumers by moving away from the clutches of the middlemen. Chairman of the Dambulla Special Economic Centre, Shanta Ekanayaka, said the Economic Centre has been created as a centre for the provision of vegetables by the farmers and also as a place to determine reasonable prices without the intervention of the middleman. He pointed out that today's big problem at the Dambulla Economic Centre is the prices being exorbitant and its increases in prices when consumer purchase produce from the centre. Meanwhile, all economic centres in the island were reopened today. Traders say that some decrease has been witnessed in the vegetable prices following receipt of large stocks of vegetables by the economic centres. The Paliagoda Central Fish Trade Complex has also remained open for buyers this morning. It also been reported that all economic centres will remain open for bulk dealers tomorrow as well. The national television has made arrangements to daily educate the masses on the wholesale vegetable prices as well.
Now on to more local news. Several inaugural programs to commence the tourist promotion activities with Russia and Ukraine have been organized in those countries under the patronage of the Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga. The program is being implemented under the government's policy to uplift the tourism industry. A discussion will be conducted in Russia tomorrow between the Russian journalists, representatives of tourism organizations and the representatives of the Sri Lanka tourism organizations. There will also be an exhibition of photographs of the Sri Lankan tourist destinations to educate the tourists that the island is an attractive tourist destination. Russia and Ukraine are among the top 10 countries with the highest number of tourist arrivals in Sri Lanka in the recent times.
Oshini Devindya Gunawardana of the Sri Lanka has successfully won the female championship trophy in the under-10 category of the World Chess Youth Chess Tournament. The competition was held centering on Georgia State in the United States. The tournament was conducted according to an online method this year due to the pandemic. 1,650 competitors from 107 countries throughout the world took part in the event. All competitions were conducted under 5 age categories of male and female. Oshini Gunawardana had contested with 183 competitors under the age of 10 years representing the female category. In the finals, she had competed with Megan Paragua of America. Oshini was able to win the under-10 female chess championship trophy by defeating her US rival. She had previously recorded several Asian and world-level chess victories as well. Oshini Devindya is a student at the Ferguson Girls High School in Ratnapura. Minister of Sports Namal Rajapaksa congratulated on her victory.
State Minister Shashindra Rajapaksa says that measures are being taken to manufacture all organic liquid fertilizer and solid fertilizer in Sri Lanka according to common standards. He further said that the program has also been prepared to purchase the produce by 2 fertilizer corporations and to distribute them island-wide. The minister made these remarks upon the inspection of the Haliala Organic and Solid and Liquid Fertilizer Manufacturing Centre yesterday. State Minister Shashindra Rajapaksa said that all manufacturers will have to register at the Government Secretariat office. The produce will be purchased by the 2 fertilizer corporations after testing the standards. The corporations have also been entrusted with the responsibility to enlighten the farmers on the method of application of manure according to the type of produce. He has also expressed the hope that the possibility of fully educating farmers by the time of the next cultivation season. The Western Provincial Council has commenced a program to distribute plants, seeds and liquid organic fertilizer covering 10,000 home gardens. Plants and seeds and fertilizer have been distributed among the people in Maharagamon recently. SM Tikri Bandara of Mirihagoda, Rambukkana is a proud owner of a vegetable farm which has yielded a bountiful harvest through the utilization of organic fertilizer. A specialty of his endeavor is being the manufacture of organic fertilizer through a machine devised by him.
State Minister Ajit Niwad Cabral says that he has never made any impact or made a request for the provision of a pension to former governors of the central bank. The State Minister has issued a media communique in response to a news item published in an English newspaper in this regard. A weekend English newspaper has reported today that a news item under the caption "Cabral attempts to provide pensions with her peers to all former governors of central bank." The State Minister, clarifying on the issue, had stated that he had functioned as central bank governor from the year 2006 to 2015. He added that accordingly he was entitled to a pension. The communique also says that the State Minister had enlightened the then CB Governor Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy 4 years after leaving the office on the 12th of February 2019 regarding not receiving his pension. State Minister Ajit Niwad Cabral also stated that other than this reminding, he has not made any influence or requested on a pension or salary arrears for governors of the central bank.
The Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs have taken measures to implement a professional guidance week. The aim of the program is to enhance the activities of the children during the pandemic period. The spread of the COVID-19 disease has adversely affected the education of children for a period of over 1 year. The children's activities have been hindered due to confinement at home. The Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs has planned a program through online focusing on competitions and employment prospects. The Ministry of Manpower and Employment has also extended assistance for the program. Further information can be obtained through the website www.dome.gov.lk.
State Minister Vimala Veera Dissanayake says that the birth of twin elephants at the Pinnavala Elephant Orphanage is an incident that has changed the course of history of domesticated elephants in the country. The State Minister has made these remarks upon an observation tour at the Pinnavala Elephant Orphanage recently. The centre has been established by the late Minister PBG Kalugala in the year 1975 with 5 elephant calves. At present, there are 84 elephants in the sanctuary. 71 calves were born at the orphanage. However, the birth of the elephant twins have been recorded in the first time of the history of the conservation of elephants. Mother of the twin elephants is the beast named Kenara, who was picked up in Surangala Grama in Trincomalee, that is, after she was displaced from her mother for a period of 1 year. She was then brought to the elephant sanctuary by the wildlife officials in the year 1997. Kenara, prior to the delivery of the twins, had been under the supervision of the staff and the veterinary physicians for about 21 years. My apologies, that would be 21 months. She gave birth to the first calf at dawn on the 31st of last month, and the second baby was delivered after 5 hours.
That's it for tonight's English News Update. Thank you for joining us. Good night.